Are you ready to get the ball rolling with guitar again? You've come to the right place because today, let's see how to get back to having fun after big setbacks in your guitar playing and practicing routine. Hello and welcome, friends, to this episode of the Play Guitar Podcast. I am Lee, and this is the podcast that's determined to make you a better guitar player. No matter if you're just starting out or you've been playing for years, this is the show that will help you become the guitarist that you always wanted to be. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the podcast and check out the description for all of the links from the show. Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great day today. Some of these episodes, they just seem to schedule themselves. I'm not sure why, but I've been helping a lot of players figure out how to navigate life and guitar at the same time. It's easy to get thrown off track, but it's very difficult to get your momentum back when, for whatever reason, you gotten away from playing guitar. If you've still got that spark, that thing that you want to be a great guitar player, but it's starting to fade, today we're going to put our finger on the reasons why you're off track and how to put some kindling on that fire and get back the momentum that you once had. So now let's jump right in and get this ball rolling again. So we're exploring the challenges that many guitar players face when life starts to get in the way. It starts to pull them away from their favorite instrument. We've all been there, whether it's due to a busy schedule, maybe your motivation is starting to wane, or maybe you're frustrated because you've hit a plateau where you want to be moving forward. There was a time when I was really fed up after experiencing a band breakup. Now, this band, it was a rock cover band, and we had gone through many different members, a lot of lineup changes in this band. And then at some point, it just got to be too much. I knew I needed to make a change. But with all the hard work that I put into that band and learn all the songs and having it fall pretty flat, really, I was down and I just needed to move on. But what I didn't expect is that with this extra free time that I had, now I wasn't learning songs or getting ready for gigs, I found myself avoiding the guitar. Now, I love playing the guitar and I really enjoy practicing, but I just wasn't doing it. What was I doing? I was finding other things to do with my time. It could have been burnout. I could have been just frustrated, but maybe playing the guitar reminded me of the situation that I was in. I'm not really sure which one it was, but the longer that I avoided the guitar, the more frustrated, but in a different way, that I became. So I learned something from all this. And as I was trying to get back on my feet and get back to playing guitar and building some momentum, it started to become very obvious that it's much more difficult to get started from nothing than it is to keep some sort of forward motion, even if life starts to get in the way. If you've ever felt that way, or if you face similar challenges, you are not alone. I'm along with you, and a lot of us who are listening are too. In today's episode, I'm going to share some tips, things that really helped me get rolling again, and then we're going to discuss how to overcome all of these setbacks and find your way to having fun with your guitar. And I have something that can help you get rolling and let you see where you are versus where you want to be. So make sure and wait till the podcast is done, please. But make sure that once the podcast is over to download my free high performance guitar scorecard. This will help you assess your skills and help get you back on track. So as I was getting ready for this, I thought doing this in 2 segments sounds smart to me. The first one is going over all of the reasons why that you could get stopped in your tracks. Life could just take the guitar right out of your hands. Sometimes when you hear it, you start to relate to these things and things start to get clearer. So I'm going to go through what, by no means are these all of the reasons, but I'm going to go through the reasons that I've come across for my students and for myself that have put a halt to forward movement with the guitar. And then after that, we'll do segment 2, and then I'll talk about all my tips and tricks and how I got through it and got back on track. So let's talk about the first challenge. That's being busy. It's the something came up and I have to deal with it right now excuse for not practicing guitar. And it's common. It's one of the most common challenges that guitar players face. It's the feeling of being too busy and something's been thrown unexpectedly in your way. It could be work related. It could be family related. It could be hobby related. You could get an illness. Who knows? You could have won the lottery and you need a lot of extra time to shop for that perfect monster truck that you want to park out in the front yard. Whatever it is, it's pushing your dreams of being great at the guitar off to the side, and it's taking the very little time that you have to work on something that's worthwhile and meaningful in your life, throws it off to the side. I've experienced this pull away from practice and the frustration that comes along with it right now. And I've been dealing with it for months. I had something happen in our neighborhood. We had a hailstorm in the beginning of the summer, and it's been a constant issue dealing with all the things that come from a damaged roof and 2 damaged cars. It's like an extra job I've been having, and it takes a lot more time than you would think to deal with it. And what gets taken away first? My guitar practice. So ask yourself, if you have ever found yourself overwhelmed by a sudden rush of commitments and made it challenging to pick up your guitar. Okay, let's move on to challenge number 2, getting bored easily, having a lack of interest and a lack of fun. It's very common, this challenge, when the playing the guitar starts to feel less exciting and less fun, and you find yourself not even really wanting to play it. I hear about this a lot from prospective students. And in my opinion, this is one of the side effects of the a la carte YouTube learning method. You're dealing with extremes when you do that. It's super exciting to be working on these advanced things when you've just started. Then you start to lose interest quickly when you realize that it's going to take a lot more work to understand these songs and understand how music works. That uphill battle that you discover once you dive into the water with this, it can make you lose interest in guitar fast. And if you don't know how to move forward, you're going to start to get bored. Ask yourself this: are you struggling to maintain enthusiasm for playing the guitar? Challenge number 3, slow progress. That equals frustration. Sometimes progress on the guitar doesn't happen as quickly as we would like it to, and that leads to frustration. It can also feel very slow when in fact you're making progress. A lot of learning the guitar is tied up in emotion. Practicing by yourself, it's rewarding for a certain type of person. But for many people, the practice isn't what does it for them. It's the excitement that makes learning the guitar all worthwhile. When you're first starting out, it's definitely more work than it is excitement. I like to think of this like stairs, and I've said this in a bunch of other podcasts, but this is worth repeating. You're practicing, you're very diligent with it. You do it every day, but it doesn't feel like you're getting any better at all. Every day that you're not at this idea of where you feel like you should be, the level that you want to be, every day you're not there, it starts to build frustration. It's like you're stuck on a stair and you're not moving up, just moving forward. It's not a smooth process, but it never fails. As soon as something happens, as soon as something good like a compliment or you have a good gig or something like that, boom, you move right up to the next level and you feel like you've been on that stair all along. The truth is that you were getting better steadily as you did daily, diligent practice. You just can't see it. You can't feel it. And ask yourself this question: have you ever felt frustrated because you're not advancing on the guitar as fast as you had hoped? How about challenge number 4, procrastination? the idea of success on the guitar is much more exciting than the actual journey of learning the guitar. Procrastination is another challenge that many guitar players encounter, often because the daily grind is exponentially more difficult than the dream that they have. Some people say it's from laziness. Some people say it's from fear, from avoidance. These are the root causes. But I think there's many different scenarios for procrastination. Sometimes it happens for even the best of reasons. If you're a planner, if you like to make sure that you have everything figured out in advance, you will often plan things in order. So putting something off can happen with very good intentions. And it's better to do that later. I want to do this, but I need to do it some other time because this is more important. But if you don't realize the importance of what you're actually undertaking, or you have things out of order in your list of things that you're doing, you may never get to the things that will actually move you forward. Ask yourself this: do you sometimes put off practicing because the road to success feels very overwhelming? How about challenge number 5, being distracted? Distraction, people are prone to that. People with ADHD, it's easily a significant obstacle in moving forward. And the guitar, especially in this world that's filled with distractions, and when dealing with ADHD, I'm not an expert on that, but I am an expert on distractions. So I'm going to focus on that. Learning guitar and performing with your guitar takes intense concentration. If you find yourself always moving to something else, always, even to the point where you start searching for distractions. Why is that? Sometimes something becomes difficult and you need some time to think about it. So you look, well, let me move over here and change up a little bit. And before you know it, your afternoon's gone because you've been surfing the web or looking through YouTube and those things. Distraction is a big problem with guitar players. And you can ask yourself this question: do you find it challenging to stay focused on your guitar playing due to distractions or issues like ADHD? How about challenge number 6, fear? Knowing what you need to do, but not doing it. Fear can paralyze us, especially when we know what we got to do, but it's difficult to take action. Stage fright is one facet of this. It's a huge problem for the beginning guitar player, and it doesn't have to be a huge stage for you to have stage fright. It happens any place where you're being expected to entertain, or people are listening to you. And this can be devastating to someone who is unsure of their skills on the guitar. When you know that the more you practice, the better you get at guitar, the closer you're going to get to that performance. This can make you want to avoid actually getting better at the guitar so you can prolong that inevitable concert that you might have to play. So ask yourself, have you ever been held back by fear, knowing what you need to do, but struggling with it? So that was segment number 1. I wanted to do that one in a list, just going down the list of all the things that I commonly come across when it's things that take you completely out of playing guitar. And now we're moving on to segment 2. And this, I wanted to be a little less formal. I just want to talk about these things a little bit. Now we're going to talk about the strategies and the first steps you take when you're trying to get the ball rolling again, get back on the horse. This is tough to do, especially when you have a negative opinion of yourself or what you're working on. First thing I want to talk about is embracing change. Do you want to change? Do you want to actually get better? Do you want everything to be different than it is now? Some people say yes, but I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of people really don't want change. They want everything to stay the same. That's where the frustration comes in, because you're not happy with how your guitar playing is. But you sit down, you like to play those same couple licks. It's comfortable. It's easy to do. First, it is crucial to realize that making a change in your guitar journey is something that you can do. You can become different. Are you ready for it? The first step towards that is acknowledging it. Acknowledging, I'm really ready for some change. I'm ready for things to be very different. Taking a look back at how you've been working with your goals up to this point? Have they been something that you are happy with, or have you fell short of where you would want to be up to this point? Then start to accept those mistakes and learn from them. Start to make some goals into the future that are accessible, that are attainable, that are things that you could maybe each month have a next rung up the ladder as you go before you're making the big changes that take you from the practice room maybe to the stage. Who knows? And also seeking inspiration from others, seeing how others have changed. If they can do it, you can do it too, especially people like your friends, people who've grown up. If you've seen that they've, gone over the hill and if you see that they've really moved into a new area in their lives and what it's done for them, maybe it's time for that to happen for you too. And that leads us into number 2, the power of small steps. Remember, it's the little things along the way to the big thing that truly matter. Always remember to set very small, achievable goals. That's the key to the whole thing. You can't go from 0 to 60 in a snap of your fingers. We have to work through the process. So make sure you make small, consistent efforts, and they will add up to something significant. If you're at 0, if you're not playing guitar, you can't even remember what the last thing you did, you know that you're nowhere near as good as you were before you stopped playing. Set something simple, like changing the strings on your guitar. There's a goal. The next one is starting to do some technique exercises. Make it very simple, but getting yourself into the routine is almost more important than what you're actually doing. Just to get yourself, okay, it's time for me to sit down with the guitar each day. I'm going to work my way forward and build momentum. What I found, especially when I had my group classes and in the academy now, is sharing the journey is extremely important. Consider this, and I know a lot of you don't want to do this, but just humor me for a minute. Consider bringing a friend into your guitar practice, someone you know that plays guitar too. Share a little bit of this with someone. It is extremely helpful and it speeds things up so much, and it makes it more enjoyable and it keeps you motivated at the same time. You could have a collaborative practice session maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks where you just pick something easy that you both work on at the same time. It's really, really important, and mutual support and accountability they're fire starters. They can get you moving forward, and you might explore some different styles of music, be exposed to things that you might not ever tried before because you're learning along with someone else. The next thing, if you're starting from all the way at the bottom, not playing at all, maybe even before you start to get back at it again, is finding your passion, getting some clarity about why you're doing this. Determine your interests within guitar playing. It could be mastering a particular style of music. It could be learning a few of your favorite songs, but identifying the reason that you're playing this in the first place. And it's easy to forget why you do that because guitar's so big. There's so many different things that you can do. If you can put your finger on why you really like guitar in the first place, that's half the battle. Then it's easy to see what the next step is if you're working your way towards that, and that can ignite your enthusiasm. Number 5 we're going to talk about for a minute is focusing and minimizing distractions. This is my favorite one. This is the one that helps me the most. Guitar's huge, and I love everything about guitar, and I want to play a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But when I put my blinders on, so I can't look left and I can't look right, I can only look straight ahead, then I am not being distracted at all. Focusing on your guitar practice and not being sidetracked by other gadgets or activities, this always leads to better results. Creating a dedicated practice space where you're not doing other things during the time that you have to play. Making sure that you make the most of your time when you sit down to practice. Use focus enhancing tools or apps. I like Guitar Pro. I keep it's like a notepad for me. I don't use it for all the things that it does. It does some really cool stuff. I jot down ideas there. So I don't have a tab book that's laying around. I can just quickly put it in there and I can see what it looks like in standard notation and key signatures and all of those things. But make sure that the things that you need that will help you move forward and make the most of your time are easily accessible to you there. Now, the one for beginners who get frustrated, put the guitar down, but then ultimately decide I'm coming back to this. This is something I want to do, is overcoming the first step. It's a big challenge. It's often the hardest thing to do. Building momentum by taking that initial action, that's key to getting back into the groove of playing guitar. All you got to do is set specific and easy first steps and talk your way through it. Talk to yourself. Let you know, okay, this is what's first, and then I'm doing this next. Put it out there. This is what you're going to do. When you sit down and you say, well, I'm not really feeling it today, I'll do it tomorrow, it's over at that point. It's going to take a lot more energy to get back into it. Do a little bit every day, and then you'll start to see the momentum start to take shape. Make sure you're talking to yourself positively as well, too. I was doing this earlier today. Make sure that if you're feeling down, if you're not feeling well, but you're dedicated to this and you're just going to go and sit down and do at least some practicing anyway, make sure you tell yourself, hey, you got this. This is going to work. You can even think of me telling you that, hey, man, you're going to do great with this. This is something that you can do. I've seen other people do it. I have never seen anyone who couldn't do it, who put the time in, and you're going to do it as well, too. Number 7, rewarding your progress. Okay, you're starting from nothing. It's time to get the ball rolling. What better than to set up a reward system to keep you wanting to move forward? You'll recognize your achievements, no matter how small they are, and celebrate your progress. You get yourself some new guitar picks, something even tiny as giving yourself a little extra time to practice. Or as you move forward, maybe you have a big purchase in mind that would be something that would make you feel good. And if you did it this way, if you said, okay, I'm going to get back to the guitar, and then once I hit 3 months, or once I hit 6 months, or once I play this certain song, then the new guitar is coming into my life. It makes you feel like you earned it. It's a sweet feeling, and it builds momentum to, hey, what's the next thing that I can work my way towards? And finally, my last little tip is being consistent with your scheduling. I would like for you to finally create an easy and manageable schedule for your practice, even if it's just in like a Google Calendar or something like that, and you block out time for you to practice. This is the key. And I've said it a million times, and I'm going to say it again. Daily practice is the best thing that you can do. It doesn't have to be for a long time. That's not where the magic comes into it. The magic comes into it each day. You practice, you go through your day, you sleep, then you come back to it the next day, and you're a lot farther along than you thought you would be from the day before. It's consistent, and it's the key to improving. This weekly practice calendar, blocking your guitar sessions, adapting to these changing schedules as well, too. When you got, okay, I practice every day at 11, and then all of a sudden you have a dentist appointment you forgot about. Well, you know what? Do it at 3 or do it at 10. You have to be flexible with these things. Don't just say, forget it, I'm not going to do it. Get used to adapting, but then coming back to those times that work for you. Okay, we've covered a lot today, and these small tips and strategies build up, and they can make a real difference in your guitar journey if you're having to start from ground zero. Tell me, what's your key takeaway from all these success strategies, and share it with us. You can go over to Facebook or Instagram, or just email it to me. You can find the link in the description. And make sure you don't forget to download my high performance guitar scorecard. This very helpful tool helps you assess your skills and helps you get back on track. The link is also in the description. Okay, I'm going to call it that's a wrap. Thanks for joining me today for the Play Guitar Podcast. Make sure to hit the button below to subscribe to the show. And if you have benefited from this podcast, please leave a favorable Apple Podcast review. It is the best way to make sure we get this very valuable content to more guitarists around the world. And if more help, structure, and results in your guitar playing sound good, what are you waiting for? Play Guitar Academy is here. Join the world's most exciting and carefully planned guitar system, and together we will build your online home base for guitar. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next episode.